back again to my channel Judicious. And generally, I'm a very positive kind of a guy in terms of attitude, but this topic is far from that because this will basically focus upon the problems of entrepreneurs, first in Indian context and then generally. So let's start. See, basically, the problems that are facing India currently are the poverty, right, and unemployment, and both of them are somewhat interrelated, right? And due to this, only a large number of people, every year they are forced to join and work as a labor, right, per year because they don't have access to employability and stuff like that. So the problem over here is also that the Indian infrastructure is not that much well organized in the sense that may it be infra in general or facility of power, transport, road, railway, warehousing, etc. So these things also they act as a barrier to the development of large scale industries. So basically, we require a well thought action and strategy for development of new ventures in this specifically in this emerging scenario of globalization and liberalization of world economies. Generally, if you talk about problems that entrepreneurs face, then these problems are like shadows to them, meaning that if a problem is solved, then other will arise and so on. Some of these problems will be faced by the entrepreneur at the starting of their venture, and maybe some will be, they will face during the operations of their business. Some of these will be external problems, some of them will be internal problems, of course. External problems are the one which are beyond the control of the entrepreneur. For example, may it be availability of power or infrastructure in general, like road, airport, ports, railways, energy, utility, education, healthcare, etc. Right? So these are something in which the entrepreneur cannot do much. However, there are certain internal problems as well, which are related, might be related to organizational structure, production and distribution channel, technical know-how, training, industrial relations, or maybe some inadequacy in the management. Right? Now, these problems, if we just categorize them and we just discuss them, the problems can be related to either say funds, administration, marketing, production, or technology upgradation, internet, World Trade Organization, that is WTO, and maybe some other challenges. So, talking about problems related to funds, then of course, obviously, finance is required for setting up new enterprise, and this finance facility is more liberally available to entrepreneurs in the Western world rather than the developing one like ours. However, there has been certain development of financial institutions which were meant to support new enterprises, like all those NBFCs that we have. But slowly and gradually with time, they also started equating themselves with commercial banks in terms of strictness and high rate of interest. So it was not much of a relief. Of course, there was SIDB, that is Small Industries Development Bank of India, which was established with the purpose of expanding availability of credit to small and medium enterprises, but it also did not solve the purpose. Then there are problems related to administration. If we say that the human resource are, they have the responsibility of optimal utilization of all the resources, then it's correct. That is exactly why in the European countries they have very excellent vocational training and apprenticeship programs, that is on the job training, which we don't have as of now that much. However, in spite of that, also there is a acute shortage of quantitative and qualitative skills and skilled labor. Similarly, in developing countries like ours, skilled manpower still continues to be short in supply. There is a need to evolve an integrated plan of action for upgrading the skills of the workers, supervisors, even office staff, so that their productivity can be enhanced and they can be equipped to better deal with the global competition. There is ITI, that is Industrial Training Institutes, that work in close collaborations with the industry to provide job-oriented training skills to the youth. Then there are problems related to marketing. Marketing basically is the crux of the ultimate success of an enterprise. Goods that are produced, they must be sold in time because entrepreneurs can hardly afford any extra inventory for a long time, right? So for this, if you look at Japan, then they are into subcontracting. The companies over there, they go for subcontracting. That is, they they outsource the marketing thing to any other small, maybe any other company, and that has become the strength of the Japanese industries in comparison to their American and European counterparts. In Japan, about two-thirds of the enterprise they are involved in subcontracting. However, this number is only is restricted to 25% of industries if we talk about India. So it's a very less number. Subcontracting is also expected to emerge as a major mechanism of strategic alliance between large and small firms in order to make them globally competitive. Then there are problems related to production, and the crux of which is lies in the technology and modernization of the industry that plays a crucial role over here. And the focus of technology policy in our country has been upon indigenization, and indigenous efforts should be made to improve the technology. If you look at the advent at which the technology grew, then the first generation computers used to be fitted in the size of a in a big room, and it took 35 years for that room sized computer to fit on our desk, and it took less than 10 years for that desktop to come to our lap, that is a laptop. And similarly, in the past decade only, we have seen advent of n number of technologies, may it be fax, voicemail, electronic mail, and even internet. John Nesbitt, in his book Global Paradox, that came in 1994, he says that telecommunication, including telephones, television, computers, and consumer electronics, will be the driving force, and they will be responsible for creating huge global economy. And whatever he said has become true in the 21st century, as we can see, whereby all the telecommunication capabilities they can fit on our desk, in our car, or maybe in the palm of our hand in the form of smartphones. Coming to Indian ventures, the thrust of technology policy over here has been on indigenization, like I just mentioned, and development of improved technologies through indigenous research and development centers. Still, there are certain problems in the areas of production, like shortage of raw material, poor quality control, problems of outdated technology, low scale of production, and lack of standardization. Then we have got problems related to technology upgradation. And the problems over here in technology upgradation is lack of information, need for better investment, non-availability of venture finance uh, for ventures that are based on new technology, and need to strengthen homegrown indigenous technological infrastructure. Then there is problem related to internet itself. Uh, Very rightly said by Adam Smith that this term, which is called as friction-free capitalism, that used to describe how the internet has helped the buyers and sellers meet easily and without losing much time and spending much money and putting in extra effort, right? So that is fine, but one thing is also true that e-commerce is nowadays is not a luxury. It is basically something that is staring right in our face, and it is something which is not very rare nowadays. Housewife in Delhi can log on to cyberspace to place order for vegetables. In Mumbai, if we talk about, pan are being sold on the net, and just imagine farmers in Madhya Pradesh logging on the internet to update themselves on the wholesale prices of vegetables. However, there are still certain problems in this area as well. That is lack of technical skills to develop a web store, right? Making a customer-friendly payment and checkout process, creating a single account for online as well as offline, that is in-store payments. Privacy and security, yes, definitely it's a concern. Order fulfillment, building customer loyalty, handling product returns efficiently, and maybe something regarded related to return policy. Omni-channel, that is multi-channel shopping experience that comprises of online as well as offline shopping, and limitations of online business models. So these problems are still there. Then there are problems related to World Trade Organization. We all know that WTO is an international body that deals with international rules related to trade, right? Or the purpose over here is to facilitate trading among countries by creating conditions of fair competition. So the rules that are contained in this WTO, they might be related to General Agreement on Tariff and Trade (GATT), applicable to trading in goods. Others are other agreements related to trading in goods. Then there are rules related to trading in services, that is GATS, General Agreement on Trade in Services, that are applicable to trade services only. And then there are agreement on trade related aspect of uh, intellectual property rights. Now, entrepreneurs over here have to mandatorily keep them updated about any changes in these rules, right? And be proactive and, so as to be updated with the current rules and act and, conduct their business accordingly. Then finally, certain other challenges, they might be related to imported goods that are coming into the domestic market at a lower tariff, and also foreign companies like, as you can see on your screen, they are establishing subsidiaries and acquiring domestic firms in India primarily for accessing the Indian market. So they are also, a threat to the Indian entrepreneurs and a part of their problems. So enough of the discussion of problems over here. In the next session, hopefully, we'll be talking about more positive things and positive, topic and stuff related to ESBM. So thank you all for listening patiently, and that is it. Smiyam Sharma signing off. Thank you so much.